Salute everyone. Welcome aboard. This is BX Sports Jedi 76 over with us. And Chef Dan is in the building. Salute, Dan.
Salute everyone. Salute. I hope everyone's having a good day. You know, today's Thursday night, the first night of football, but there's other sports going on. Let's talk. You know, football is one sport. You know, it's majestic violence, but we have another brand of majestic violence that we're gonna get to tonight, and that's the UFC card that happened over this weekend. So, salute to everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day, and hope everyone enjoys the show today.
Right, and welcome,
Austin,
Chef
how are
Dan.
you?
Oh, I'm doing well, and actually could be better. And I mean, to be honest with you, but hey, I'm well knowing that I'm here doing the show. At least I can at least talk to you guys right now. Kind of need to talk to you guys. So yeah, how you guys doing?
That's what we're ready. We're pumped. We're excited to break these cards down. The Brits are coming. The Brits are coming. The Brits are coming. Austin, tell us how you want to lead which fight you want us to break down first. Salute to Robert Parr, also, and that's in the building. My main guy, Robert Parr.
Robert Parr, you're back in the building. I heard you were on vacation. I hope vacation was great for you, man. I hope you watched some of these fights. I know you're new to the sport, so we're gonna break it down for you. It's gonna be exciting today.
You know what? Let's get out the way. Let's talk about Dan's boy, Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett. I mean, gets his first round TKO in a very exciting fight. Dan, I know you want to talk about this. Let you go. I'll let you go first.
You want me to kick it? I'd rather you kick it off. I want you to tell me what you saw. I would love it if you could tell me what you saw before I go on my spiel, because you know I'm gonna do a whole diatribe. It's gonna possibly take me 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, okay then. Well, excuse me. I saw a very exciting fight between Paddy and Luigi Vendramini. They were very back and forth. I mean, they each had their moments. It was I think Vendramini took him down, but Paddy got up. If I'm not mistaken, and Paddy was able to get I'm trying to remember what exactly. No, I'm thinking I don't want to confuse him with Tom Aspinall in terms of the knee, then the punch to the head. Patty was able to rock him and drop him and then like finished him before the first round. I mean, it was a really entertaining round for how long the fight lasted. And yeah, Patty, he won his debut. Good for him. And it really was especially we've seen guys have hype going to UFC didn't lose their debut sometimes, but Patty, not Patty, he had pulled through and won his first fight. And it's kind of like he already got compared to Conor McGregor because of the whole Cage Warrior aspect of both being from Cage Warriors and then having a lot of hype from their respective nations. Patty England and Conor Ireland, and now they win a debut fight in TKO. Although they're different though. And one thing I found kind of cool, unique was I'm not sure you guys saw this, but Molly McCann, who fought earlier in the card, and may have been in prelims, came out like I think gradually Patty. I'm not sure you saw that. It was like kind of like kind of like a cool moment. Like, oh wow, she ran from. I'm not sure they're training partners. I don't think I knew. Maybe they are. I had no idea. But yeah, Patty definitely went successful debut. Hopefully his next fight goes. Goes. For him. Goes the same. Obviously, doesn't get hit as much as he did by his opponents. And like I said, he's definitely got a lot of attention right now. I can't wait to see more Patty the Paddy Pimblett.
Okay,
Awesome.
good, awesome. BX, do you want to go now? Do you tell me what you saw from Patty?
Patty we have a showman in the make for you. People were worried about Conor McGregor with the injury. Can they continue to force him to fight with his injuries? Because he is a showman, Conor McGregor. But if this young man come over and he gets that exciting fight, and he's also a showman, a character. His interview was phenomenal, and the way he broke it down, there's a star being born in the UFC. I understand. We don't want to get caught up on that hype train with the first fight and getting all hyped up. But when the guy delivered the way he just delivered in that fight, and then the colorful interviews, you got something brewing here. And salute to Project Nerd Hector. What's going on, my guy? He's in the chat. Salute. We glad to have you here, and that's why he's a star in the making, man. He is a star. He is a star in the making. And Chef Dan, I'm gonna leave it as that because he just answered the bill. He left us like wow, you know. And I know we sound cliche when we say a lot of wow or fan favorite, but for what the hype train he bought, he actually so far lived up to the bill. So I'm gonna let you go because I know you're spewing in there and you're like a hot tea kettle ready to bust. I hear the whistles in the background. So Chef Dan, cook it away, bro.
Let me get right to the dish. Let me get right to the dish. Paddy showed. Salute, Project Nerd. Salute. Paddy showed what he is. Well, he didn't show all of his skills in that ring, but he showed who he is. If you didn't, you want to now go back and do your history. You want to watch some of the old Paddy the Baddy fights in Cage Warriors, because those fights that he had, he showed the very same mentality. A guy who, in the fight, you saw it. Luigi had a chance to knock him down. Like, he had a chance. He wobbled him. He was catching him clean. I remember both Daniel Cormier and Michael Bisping said it on the commentary that the way Paddy fights, his chin is usually up and out when he's swinging. And he's usually swinging, throwing everything in the first couple of hits. So he's kind of leaving himself open for an exchange. And Luigi caught him. And the way the UFC is built, you don't want to leave yourself like that. That's an adjustment he's going to have to make on tape, to where he's going to have to be cleaner with his striking and his distance. He fully well acknowledges in every one of his interviews, he goes, he knows the flaw in his fighting style, and how he knows that he can get caught with an overhead right, or someone sleeps him with the left. He knows that it's very possible, but he's willing to go in for that exchange. And so the first thing as a fighter is you congratulate that mentality, because you know there is no giving without receiving. You know that in the fight game, like, you're gonna have to put yourself in the actual pocket sometimes in order to best give yourself a chance. So he does that, right? Now, to where you guys mentioned Molly McCann showing up. And shout out to Paddy, Liverpool, but he's from the Scousland area. That's why he calls himself a Scouser. Him and Molly are both from that area, so they both claim Scousers. So that's why Molly McCann came out there. They're both from the same region, and they both celebrated the fact that they both showed a dominant performance. Within the UFC, their first fight. Well, Molly's second fight, I believe, but Paddy's first fight, they both showed out for Scousland. Paddy, you said it, BX. He's a star in the making, and one of the other things that a fighter needs to know how to do nowadays, with all the attention and everything that's showing, is that they have to know what to do outside of the punches and the kicks. They have to know that when they're on the microphone and they've just won and they have an opportunity to call anyone out, be it the champion, if you want to look ridiculous or so forth, the way you can present that, it can do leaps and bounds for you. And everyone, if you watched it or if you've seen the clip by now, he's viral everywhere because he's saying it. He said, "I'm the new cash cow." He's letting you know, plain and simple, if you're getting a fight with me, you're getting a large payday. Everyone's going to have my name in their mouth. It's that simple. He tells Dana White, "You better have me on the next card as soon as possible." Like, that's a star in the making, if any. I can understand why the comparison to Conor McGregor is there, in the sense that the brashness, they're both very brash. They're both going to let you know what they want, and there's no backing down. But at the same time, both of them are going to fight for it too. Clearly, like Conor is a guy who we clearly know he's not a guy who's shying away from the competition. And he said it after the first loss against Dustin Poirier, he wants more activity. So I don't know for other people, but I can see coming off that injury, he's going to want more activity. Connor's one subject, but back to Paddy. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. He showed his striking, he put out a story out there that he denied the UFC twice. That he didn't feel he was ready the first two times that the UFC called him for an opportunity to get a contract. But the third time he's doing it, you see it in his physique. That was the best shape I've ever seen Paddy Pimblett in. And if you saw the shape that he walked into that octagon with, he was confident. If you saw the shape that Luigi was in, they both came in the best shape of their life, and it was a great fight. And hats off to Paddy, because he was the star. Like, I lost my voice off of that KO. And personally to me, that wasn't even the fight of the night, but that was one of the fights that had me very excited. So kudos to Paddy the Baddy. I don't know where he goes next, because 1 through 15 in his division, in the lightweight division, he gets anyone he wants. Anyone that's not unranked, he gets anyone he wants, because he can fit the bill. He's one of those guys that he can put the butts in the seats. Everyone, like, I believe that if he does at least 2 more events in the United States, and he is rocking them, like, he may not be the main event, but he has everyone chanting his name. Soon enough, you're gonna see Paddy the Baddy headline a UFC event in Liverpool. I can guarantee that. A new star is born.
That'll be huge. That will be a huge event, a sellout crowd. Wow.
That would be, yeah. And we'll definitely like to see see what he does next, and see whoever he fights. I mean, anywhere in England, really. It could be Liverpool, it could be London, it could be Manchester, anywhere in Birmingham. But yeah, I get your point. Liverpool's the ideal place. Like Till did. They're in Till, and back in 2018, it's a Wonder Boy main event in Liverpool.
Yeah, he has. I'm telling you, he has that star ability, man. He's just he man. I don't like. There's nothing else for us to say. Like, you did say that Luigi got him down, and he did not stay down. Like, this is the funny part about it. Like, as we see more and more of Paddy the Baddy, I'm letting you guys know right now, he is a grappler. He is a guy whose major is he majors in the jiu-jitsu, in the grappling game. But the fact that he wanted to stand up with Luigi, it shows something. So, and he called it. He said, I'm calling the first round knockout. And then his the song that he leaves to is how you like me now. Like, a star is born. So with that being said, I mean, that's all I have to divulge about this fight. Austin, what's the next fight that you want to talk about?
Well, you kind of briefly already talked about her. I mean, this is the only prelim fight I saw that and the reason after hearing what happened, I watched it, which was Molly McCann beat Yeon Kim unanimous decision all 29-28. This was like, I want to talk about this because this one fight tonight. And this was a very exciting fight, like a really legit exciting fight. Like Kim, I think Kim dropped her in like the first minute of the fight, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's like first minute, and you gotta get Molly credit for being able to survive and be able to get out of that round. I mean, even towards the end, they were both taking punches, but Kim won that round. But then Molly was able to make it her fight and won the next 2 rounds. Landed cleaner shots, the shots with more impact, and and even though Kim was striking back, which punches back, but still, Molly was clearly won the fight, and Molly clearly won the fight. But it was very exciting. I mean, it really was. I was surprised. I mean, I kept hearing people talk about it, and I watched it. It was like it was real, and then I watched it. I was like, wow, this is really one of the more exciting fights. Especially that first round was really crazy. I mean, it's like back and forth. I mean, Molly gets dropped, survives, and then they're both swinging at each other, and it's pretty cool seeing Molly's able to come back and win. Those when you see a fighter who actually faces adversity and is able to come back and win like that, those are always fights that always stand out. And she got performance bonus obviously because of the fight tonight. And like I said, it was a good, well, back to back GOAT nights for Liverpool guys and girls. May have been the prelims in the first fight, the main card with Molly and Patty. And yeah, that was very entertaining fight. If you didn't watch it, check it out. It was really entertaining.
Yeah, I agree with you
Yeah,
completely,
that was a
Austin.
good fight.
Yeah, that to me was fight of the night. I wrote it right, like I have it in my notes as soon as I finished watching it, and I didn't see Patty fight yet because that was the last fight of the preliminaries. But I said that was the fight of the night because I the first round, Molly did come out as like a ball of fire, and Jeon Kim did drop her, but it was because she had beautiful footwork, and that was consistent all through the round. She was very accurate with her strikes, but Molly kept throwing and throwing and throwing. The second round, Molly, I believe she took that round completely. It was the second and third round, but I want to save the third round for last. The second round, she took that round completely. She was really more active and just kept moving around and just really pacing her. Not really pace. She had a pace to her, but at the same time, she was more active. So I guess she truly knew what her gas tank was because she kept it consistent all through 3 rounds. The third round, I labeled her as vicious. This is when I found, like, this is when the meatball came out of Molly McCann because she was doing things where, like, Jeon Kim, she was still in the round because of her footwork and because of her striking and her accuracy. But there were times where Molly, when she went in for a flurry, and the last hit that she gets, she doesn't end it right there. She's punching and then grabbing onto Jeon Kim, pulling her in and then trying to land more shots. If not, she's trying to hold on to her arm and then wrench it backwards somewhere. Like, she was just completely vicious. It was, the score was exactly so, all three judges having it 29-28. Molly McCann took that, but yeah, that third round was completely vicious. Austin, do you have anything else to add to that?
Very vicious, yeah, vicious and very entertaining. Very entertaining. Guy, like you mentioned, how she grabbed her as well as after punch laying combinations, and it was really like I said, great performance by Molly. Part her best performance in the UFC by far, and John Ken definitely kept fighting at the end, but Molly's able to take over. So it was really a blast, entertaining fight. So I enjoyed it, and like I said, I'll be lying to you if I was excited for the prelims in this card. It wasn't until it wasn't until everyone could probably fight, and I saw it and realized, wow, this is really entertaining. It was really like I said, and it's just like by the ladies got fight tonight.
Yeah, completely. BX, did you want to add anything to that fight, the ladies fight?
They put on a show. They had a it was if you like striking, if you wanted to see striking, and there was a good takedowns and it was an all around good performance. From a good fight especially in the women's division. They just bought it, man. They bought it, and they really deserved that fight of the night bonus. They just threw the hands, and it was if you really. That's why I always say, and we preach in the program. If you're a novice or you're new to the UFC fight or combat fight MMA, and you want to get into the MMA, but you just can't seem to give it the opportunity, watch the prelims. I tell you guys all the time, watch the UFC prelims, especially before you purchase the pay-per-view or before you invest in spending money on the pay-per-view. Watch the prelims, watch these young fighters. They're hungry, they want to prove something, and they give you a good fight. And also, I know we say that every program, ring announcer always tells you what kind of fight and you're expecting. If they're a grappler, if they're a striker, or a mixed martial artist, or jiu-jitsu, so you know and you're aware of what you're getting ready to see. So I always tell you guys as a word of advice to get into the sport. Like myself, maybe about a year, 2 years, I'm really got into MMA, and those are the key notes that got me involved and liking it and loving it now to this point where I'm here with you guys doing a podcast. So I really agree with it. And I tell you guys, go ahead, watch the prelims, get to know that. And then once you get hooked and you like it, then if you want to purchase the pay-per-view, go ahead and go ahead and invest it, because you're going to get good content. And also you start following these fighters. I always said it. Now with a Molly, where she goes next. Molly McCann, you want to see where she goes next when she gets put on the regular fight card. Then you follow her because you've seen her in the prelims fight. And the prelims haven't been disappointing whatsoever for the past at least 6 weeks or more. They've been really good. Some good knockouts, some good submission. From any fight, want to break down any other fight? I know, Austin, you want to leave the prelims there with Molly. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, anything else significant?
If we're not gonna get to that fight, I just wanted to shout out the last two victors of the preliminaries, which was Julian Erosa and Jack Shore. Julian Erosa fought against Charles Jourdain, and I was looking forward to seeing Charles Jourdain, but Julian Erosa, he was just completely dominant. I really was rooting for Charles Jourdain. I really wanted him to get this victory, but Julian Erosa, he was just a better striker all the way around. I felt Charles Jourdain maybe should have mixed in more leg kicks, and he had some counters, but he really should have mixed in more leg kicks. But yeah, you see it. Uh, for the first 2 rounds, Julian Erosa just showed that he was a better striker, and then by the third round, he started it up with a messy fight, ended up into grappling on the cages, and then after that, ending it with a Darce choke. So yeah, he was excellent. And Jack Shore, 15-0 right now. He in the bantamweight division. Look out for him. He is a monster, and he is a name that is going to ring bells in the UFC. Jack Shore he's part of the Brits that invaded, and he is an excellent fighter. He fought Liudvik Sholinian, and yeah, I believe Liudvik was supposed to be a better striker than Jack Shore, but the numbers were dominant. Liudvik, he had 0 significant strikes in the first round. He only scored 10 in the second round and then 4 in the last round because Jack's defense was just so good, and he's just a better striker this fight. And then I believe he ended the fight with a choke. I'm not. No, it went to decision. It went 30-27. Jack Shore won the fight, and yeah, that he just dominated this fight. But yeah, let's get right into the main card, because there is some controversial. There's 2 controversial fights that we have to get into.
One I know which one you're talking about. That's the one I want to get into. Khalil Roundtree being Modas
Modestas Bukowskis.
Modestas Bukowskis with a oblique kick in the second round. Well, the oblique kicks are something that's been somewhat debated in MMA circles for the last several years, especially ever since John Jones and those Jackson Wink guys. They're the ones that typically employ that kick, and it usually we always wonder if it was gonna mess up somebody. We knew it had the chance to do. And unfortunately for what I say his name. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Modestas Bukowskis.
Bukowskis. Unfortunately, Bukowskis, it ruptured his knee, and and unfortunately he's gonna get surgery, which I heard he's doing well, thankfully. But Clarence gets the victory, and it's something that people debate. Should it be legal? Should it be legal? Not legal? I mean, I personally, I vary. I tend to lean more to keep it legal. Personally, I mean, first of all, what do you think of this fight, Dan? What do you think of the should it be legal or not legal? That oblique kick.
As far as the fight goes, the first round, I believe Khalil Roundtree took that convincingly to me. He was just the better striker, and whenever Modestas tried to go for a grappling attempt, he showed his takedown defense. It was really good. And the second round, Khalil Roundtree ended it with the oblique kick, right? I remember I was doing the watch along with BX while he was calling the Yankees game. I made the joke actually because in the first round that he should have done a roundhouse kick, because I felt like he was really dominant in the first round and he could have ended it. He had plenty of ways to end it, as far as like if he kept his pressure consistent against the cage. But then again, Modestus was counterattacking every now and then, and having the ability to slip out, and he knew his angles very well. To the oblique kick. That's not something that's practiced in the gym, I believe, but the defense for it is, because I know everyone is debating. Well, before I get to whether I believe it should be banned or not, I remember because the argument was really prevalent around the weekend. I remember watching a video that Israel Adesanya had put out, because he does a lot of watch-alongs, and he does a lot of reaction videos to the UFC cards. And he was doing a watch-along to his fight with Robert Whittaker. And Robert Whittaker attempted an oblique kick against him, as to which he defended it. And he said on the commentary, he goes, up there, he goes with that oblique kick. He tried that SH, but I blocked it. And the funny part about it is, I learned about that defense, let's say about he said he learned the defense for the oblique kick about a week and a half before the fight actually happened. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is Israel Adesanya, but this oblique kick, granted, it has the only intention is to put someone in the hospital. That is the intention of it. But when you're throwing any and all strikes in the octagon, is that not your intention? When you're throwing the strike, is to put the person down, to damage them enough that they don't get back up through their own volition. And if you know that you're fighting another professional fighter, their will is, if not matching yours, is somewhere around yours, be it less or more. So it's not going to take anything to take you down. The same for that fighter that's standing across from you. Wow. It made me look at also my gripe with leg kicks, and how I feel that people don't defend I feel like fighters don't defend leg kicks enough. That we see fights usually tend to be dictated nowadays by the leg kick, because we know that it's becoming popular now. Everyone knows that it's the popular strike nowadays, because Dustin Poirier in the Conor McGregor fight made it popular. But there is a defense for it. We saw Jose Aldo against
Pedro Munoz.
Pedro Munoz, he lives off those leg kicks, and we saw that he defended those. But then we also see guys like Edson Barbosa and Giga Chikadze. Both of these guys throw leg kicks, but neither of them really defended each other's leg kicks. They just tried to outwill, the fighter. Should it be banned? In my honest opinion, no. I don't think it should be banned, because every strike is being thrown with a viciousness. If you want to ban an oblique kick, then in that instance, there should be a discussion about the heel lock. Because the heel lock, in the way every fighter has described it to me, and I believe there was a fight, I don't know, last card or a card previous, where two fighters got into it on the ground, and they were both hunting for heel locks. And it's I don't know who was on the commentary, but two fighters are always on the commentary, and they were both screaming into the headset, "Hey, if you feel someone's got it, just tap. By the time you feel the pain, it's too late. You're hurt. You're sidelined." So should a heel lock be banned? If we're having that discussion. And you're vehemently saying no. So now in that instance, I don't believe that the oblique kick should be banned. If anything, I feel like, as the referee says, you are what they're looking for is not the strikes and the punches or whatever. They're looking for the other fighter's ability to defend themselves. And if one strike changes the ability for you to defend yourself, then fight over. You have to have you have to be cognizant of it. You have to be watching. The way it wasn't like Khalil Roundtree threw a flurry and then he threw the oblique kick. So it's not, it's not even something where you can throw the flurry and then you throw the oblique kick. There has to be an amount of space, and you have to see that wind up because it is a weird wind up. That same wind up can be shown for the kick that John Jones does, where he lands on top of the knee leg strike, like a leg kick. He lands it on top of the kneecap, and it's something vicious. I call it vicious as well. Like it's not meant to just stun a person. That strike, the way he throws that strike, it's meant to sideline a person. And you saw it being done with Thiago Santos. So yes, that I believe that's a knee lock right there. But yeah, two fighters going for leg strikes and going for leg locks, and he gets his first. And it was a heel lock. Yes, it was a heel lock, but his knee coming out of the heel, the viciousness is right there. We'd have to get a fighter on to better explain the heel lock and what parts are going for it. But yeah, it's like they describe it. Once you feel it, it's too late. So how do you go about that? If the commission if the commission wants to have a discussion about it, and certain commissions feel like, all right, within their state they're gonna ban that, then go for it. But I just feel like it shouldn't be banned, and it should be on the fighters to just defend, have better defense. We're seeing a lot of fighters in the octagon not have a lot of good defense. They're letting a lot of strikes go, especially ones that we know are going to build up, but they're just letting them go in hopes of landing the bigger strike. Defense is key. It's all part of the game.
Right, and I actually don't support us a heel hook. Yeah, it looks like Frank Mir did on Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar's UFC debut there. Yeah, and I do remember seeing images of that one. And they could tell Brock's in a lot of pain. But yeah, I do agree that bleed kick should not be banned. It shouldn't be. I think fighters should defend it. I mean, yeah, exactly. Especially if you're fighting Jackson Wink guy like John Jones or Holly Holm, you shouldn't be prepared for that because those Jackson Wink guys throw it more than anybody. But I mean, like you said, every punch or kick or submission is meant to have bad attention. So it would make sense to ban the bleed kick. When I was younger, I kind of was like, yeah, maybe not. But the more I thought about it, I was like, nah, it shouldn't be banned.
If anything, if you look at Modestas Bukauskas' Instagram and Twitter, he's putting it out there himself that he says that everyone's giving Khalil Roundtree a hard time. A lot of fighters was giving him a hard time for being proud of the victory, which he should have been. He got the victory in a unique way, and not everyone, no one could have called an oblique kick ending any fight. You don't call those. You could call a punches, or you could call, a side kick to the liver and then going for a ground and pound. But you weren't going to call the oblique kick. So that was something he brought out of nowhere. We can't penalize him for that. Secondly, Modestas puts it on himself that he should have defended it better. And third, if you watch the footage after the fight that UFC provides, they both after the fight, have an understanding that, hey, Khalil Roundtree lets him know, I prepared my absolute best for you, and this is what it caused. And he respects it because that's the respect level you show to another fighter. You're not going in there no fighter tries to fight another fighter to get the decision. They're trying to finish it, and that's the respect you give to the other fighter because both of you have the same intentions. It's just all about how you go about doing it.
Right, and that's what we see with that fight. You're going out there to survival mode. You're not going there to do a dance recital. You're going there to fight. You're going to win. You're going to go you can make your money, get the fight or the bonus. And that kick, hey, that's part of what you sign up for. That's the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to the mixed combat sport. And also, I have a message. So Israel the style bender. You do a lot of watch alongs. You do on there. Why don't you come on Bronx Sports Jedi with us here? We shoot you the link. You come on, watch it on with us here, and we make some history. We want to hear your point, Israel. So come on down. Like Bloomberg said to LeBron, come on down. Come on, Israel. Come on down. So, all right. So that wraps that fight up. So where we want to go from here? You guys talk to me. I'm ready to talk about. We always got Alex Morano for Davis Zawanda. We could go there before we get to the meats and potatoes of the night.
I mean, yeah, I actually want to get directly into the meats and potatoes of the night because we also have. I feel like we also have a lot more to discuss afterwards, and that's not more so the before we get into the main event. I want to get into the co-main event because that was very, very impressive. Tom Aspinall via KO against Serghei Spivac. It was a high knee and then the elbow and then the ground and pound, and that's how he finished it. Look, high knee right.
That's the first fight. That's not the guy because he's not the Russian guy. No, that's not it. No.
That's not Spivac, but yeah,
that's the knee. That's the knee. That's the knee that
that's the knee that he throws, and then he throws the knee right into a right elbow over the top of the head, and then as soon as Spivac goes down, he ends it via ground and pound. And the guy Tom Aspinall, I said this on the watch along. I hope you guys watch the way this guy fights. He is not your conventional heavyweight. I see this guy as if you give him a 2 more fights, I'm interested to see what he does against a guy like Serghei. That's interesting.
Yep.
That's interesting to me because I feel like he moves like a welterweight or like a light heavyweight. He's fluid, light on his feet, but he has power and he moves with a purpose. Like everything has a purpose and a reason behind it, and it's not just that move by itself. You can see everything is a setup for something else. So Austin, you tell me what you saw in this fight.
Also, Tom Aspinall proving why he's a legit contender in this heavyweight division. I mean, he beat number 14 Serghei. I'm pretty sure his last name.
Spivac.
I don't know why I'm can't pronounce the names tonight. Anyway, Spinock. Oh, sorry. And they say he did a beautiful combination: knee, elbow, ground and pound. I mean, it was beautiful to watch. Like, wow. Because usually not many heavyweights do that, especially guys who are not like top 5. And Aspinall's a guy that really has been impressive all his UFC fights. Come back to his debut, which is like a year ago, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was over a year ago he made his UFC debut. And he's really like a great prospect, and he also wants to take the slow route too. I mean, Aspinall, when asked who was to fight next, he said he wants to take the slow route, not go jump ahead. Which, some might argue might be the best thing for him. Not go too far, not go fight the number 4 guy immediately. Why not fight like the number 10 guy? Maybe for him, he may mature. I mean, it may make him a better fighter. And it's usually you don't see many guys do that. Usually, most guys say, "I want the belt," or "I want the guy gets close to the belt." Aspinall seems to play the long game, and that seems like a very unique thing about him, and it probably might work out for him. He's got a lot of talent. I mean, he's England's best chance of getting a heavyweight championship. I mean, I think probably England's best chance of getting a UFC championship. I mean, he's the real deal, Aspinall.
I understand what he said when he mentioned going the slow route, but I don't think that's gonna happen for him. I just think time is a funny thing in the UFC, and the way time goes is sometimes you could be booked to be fighting someone who is one rank above you, but then something happens in his training camp. So now another guy who's higher ranked but hasn't had competition in a long time is thirsty to get back in there. So he goes, you know what? I'll accept this fight on short notice if you sign up. And you see that as an opportunity because the mix in the heavyweight championship around, between those 4 guys has started, after time is gone by, you see that the mix is starting to reveal itself as to who is the champion and who are the clear-cut contenders. And so now you feel at a certain point, Tom Aspinall may feel at a certain point, hey, I can jump in here and I can make my bid, and no one would have a reason to deny me. And so when he does something like time's a funny thing. I know he wants to go the slow route, but sometimes the way things go, you can just be catapulted right into the mix, just like that. So I know he wants to go the slow route. I don't believe it.
But you know what they say? He's going the slow route. Money talks. So if he's offering a big money fight with a big purse, the DBS walks. Now, just imagine this. Let's put a little bit of imagination. This wretched virus whatever is gone, and everything's coming to normal. Wembley Stadium, you got the young man that fought Paddy in a fight, whoever he's ready. Then you put a Tom Aspinall against Serghei Spivac. You make a card similar to what we're going to see in a few months in Madison Square Garden, but with a European aspect of flair. Maybe, let me throw that out. You put that's one of the fights. You entice a retirement of the main man who's undefeated. He might come out to fight. You put him on that card and throw him, hey, European card. You could make a lot of money.
No,
I know.
No, put the hammer down. Just stop.
Let me channel my little Stephen A. Smith.
Wait, you talking Khabib?
Khabib, the big
man.
Nah,
he's not. Nah.
Yeah,
Mama said no. Look, BX. Mama said no.
Okay.
Mama said no.
It's the Dagestan culture.
Yep.
I get you. But you put a card. Okay. But I'm just can a band dream a little bit on a Thursday night with a European card in Wembley Stadium with over 90,000 people plus UFC fight, breaking history of crowd, and then you have maybe you bring in a Manu Nunez at that time, and she's still fighting strong, and who knows what other lady that's up there? Maybe Amanda Serrano will cross over from the boxing world into the MMA. Well, she was an MMA fighter, but right now her prestige and her fame is in boxing. You put that on the card, and big fight. It's all about money, man. And that'll be interesting to see. I know it's a far fetch. We're going a little bit away, but Tom Aspinall against Serghei Spivac will be a big draw money maker, or even Conor McGregor. It's farewell fight farewell fight part of that card. You could make a card and make money. That's the point of the whole story there.
Probably
I agree with BX there in the sense of if the card is big enough and it's at a certain location, Tom Aspinall he just can't fight just anybody.
Right.
No matter what, no matter what. And what I think it depends on is how much activity he gets done in between that time, because a lot can happen. If he does do the patient thing and go, I'm gonna wait my turn for the next guy, and when he's ready, we'll match up. Some guy could just shoot up there and just a guy that you feel you can beat, and he's just got all the right opponents lined up, and so he goes from 15-5 in a couple of events. Right there, that could change. Things change. So if we're finished getting into that, let's get right into the main event of the night, which was Darren Till versus Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson won the fight via rear naked choke, I believe, in the third round.
Yeah, third round. Yep.
In the third round. First two rounds was Derek Brunson's. He wasn't a better striker, but Darren Till was just he was a better striker than Derek, but he was just not as active. You saw that he just didn't look I don't know, he just was not active enough. And Derek Brunson, whenever he got the takedown on Darren Till really didn't fight it, or it looked like he couldn't fight it. BX, tell me what you saw from this fight.
You seen what Derek Brunson does, what he does best. He frustrates fighters. he takes them out of the element, and he's just keep on, kicking butt and taking names later. I mean, his fights are not pretty. They're not a wonderful style, but he just keeps showing. He keeps showing why he keeps winning. He beat Kevin Holland. He's like, and I know Israel saw, and I know he wants Israel next, and he has a legitimate gripe to want a rematch with him. I know a lot of people say, why not? Why waste your time? But I want to see it. I want to, because he just this fight he took Tillman, he took Till right out, man, with that rear naked choke, and he left you saw his eyes were all puffed up prior to the rear naked choke, and he took damage, and he just went and closed the show. You got to give him, that guy, props. Derek Brunson, props for closing the show. And the main event, he didn't fart around. He didn't go to no decision. He took it in his hands, and he well-deserved victory, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, this fight I saw. They said Till was the better striker. When it was striking, Till landed the better shots. In the first round here at Brunson, but Brunson to get the takedown. Although early on, Darren Till was trying to fight off and try and get up, but Brunson's so heavy on top that it was hard. But Till to get up, I think at one time or in during the fight, and Brunson laid like an elbow or or right hand on Till's like not wait yeah, maybe right hand. I forget, right or left hand. I forget, on Till's right eye, and then swelled up his right eye, which probably maybe affected Till later on. And then the second round, Till was doing all right, stand up, and then Brunson took him down. Didn't do much damage. There's the third round where Till really hurt Brunson, really rocked him. Brunson for a takedown. Till tried to guillotine to get him to stop, but it didn't work. Brunson was able to get the takedown, and once he got the takedown, he was able to pass guard and able to put a rear naked choke and make Till tap. So Brunson's, he was, like I mentioned last week, he's the NCAA Division Two wrestling champion. He's got very good wrestling for most of his career, if not all of his career. Derek Brunson, and Brunson was able to weather some storms, show adversity, and get back and win the fight. Well, not get back, he wasn't down, but pull through the adversity and win the fight. And Brunson, to me, he's after Israel and Whitaker fight, to me he's Brunson's the rightful contender for the championship, because there's really no one else besides Brunson. I mean, Cannonier just only won one fight. He still still got to put some more work. Manson, no, it's just it's Brunson, and get Brunson credit. He's been fighting for a while, and ever since he's gone, South Florida with Stanford MMA, he's really won fight in a row. And look, it's not as reckless he won. So he's really going out there and show himself, especially actually at a later age. He's like 36 now and still, keeping the younger guys and winning. And also a fun fact, I learned that this was the third straight fight that Brunson was the underdog. I believe.
Wow.
I think he was underdog against Till. I believe as well. I could be wrong about that one, but I know he derailed three hype trains basically. Edmund Shabazian, Kevin Holland, and then Till. And yeah, good job. He's basically letting the UFC know I'm still here. You gotta deal with me no matter what. And good job, Brunson.
I
I
agree with
agree.
that.
I
Beautiful,
agree with
beautiful
you
what you said
there.
there. Yeah.
I agree with you completely. He is the rightful contender. He said it himself after 5 wins in a row in the middleweight division, which is a really tough division. Yeah, he's earned that right completely. Um, now we know Derek Brunson's trajectory. Now we know he can just sit back, wait for the Whitaker Adesanya two result, and then from there he gets winner automatically. But as far as Darren Till, where do you guys see him going?
Two, I mean, it's a tough one because he was very big for 170 and maybe had some tough times making it. So I mean, it's like, yeah, once he has success, but it's like he make the weights. And even middleweight, he doesn't exactly look bad. I mean, he beat Calvin Gastelum, and then he fought Robert Whitaker, which, if you remember that fight, it was 48-47 Whitaker. Two dropped Whitaker in the first round of that fight, and two actually had a good performance. It was just that Whitaker was a step ahead of him. That's what it was with that fight. Even this fight, he has moments against Derek Brunson. Rocked him twice in round one, round three, especially round three. So it's like he's still there. He's still in the lead. He's still competing with the lead. It's just that maybe he just needs to work some things. And someone brought this up. I think it was Josh Thompson from Weighing In. The COVID restrictions in England is much different in America. It makes you wonder how many people being trained with in England. Not only that, but also how many events are being held there. If certain events aren't being held there, just get the same training partners that he once did before COVID. So maybe that could be affecting him also. Something to throw out there. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I still think. I mean, I kind of still goes back to 170 if he can make the weight, but I also think 185 he is he's still proving he can still hang with the big boys in 185. I mean, it's not like Calvin Gastelum where he's small for 185. If that makes sense.
Understandably, there is a rumor out there, well, not a rumor per se. Darren Till's trainer put it out there that he tore, I believe, his ACL before the fight, and he still went out there. So I I don't want to give up on the fact that he is, he did look okay. He looked okay. He wasn't completely outmatched. Like it wasn't. I don't know how to say it. He didn't look outmatched. He just looked hampered. He looked like he looked like he just couldn't keep up with the activity of Derek Brunson, but Derek Brunson wasn't so active that he couldn't keep up with him. So looking at him, I can if they now that they've said that he tore his ACL, I can believe that yes, he most definitely, tore that ACL. So as far as middleweight division, I'm not done with him because I think there are guys like Kevin Lee just coming off of a loss himself. Guys like those in that way. A lot of the fighters, a lot of the fighters on the roster are reaching out to Darren Till and telling him, "You're not finished in that division. You got to go rest up." Because every fighter, I guess they all came to the same assumption that when they heard what happened with this trainer, that looked like a Darren Till that was not 100% healthy. You got to get 100% healthy first. And then after that, show us what you got. But get 100% healthy, then have a full training camp, and then, do that. But a lot of people were also suggesting maybe, this is his second time getting hurt during his training camp. Should he change training camps? What do you think about that, Austin?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. I mean, you can make an argument. Maybe he should change training camps, or maybe change the way he works. They train, because unfortunately, a lot of these guys, unfortunately, I mean, if you get getting hurt, it's gonna, I mean, everyone's hurt in MMA, but if you get like serious injuries and you go in fights with them, it affect your performances and you might live up to your potential. So, yeah, I mean, you could say yes, may go to different camp, but also this is the same camp that got him to the welterweight title fight against Tyron Woodley back 2018. So it's kind of hard maybe to leave it. Maybe so. I mean, plus, I mean, AKA. I know. I'm not sure you remember, Dan, but remember AKA was notorious for guys getting hurt a lot. They were one of the best gyms, but a lot of guys got hurt a lot to the point where I think Dan White even called them like barbarians or something, the way they train or stuck in the Stone Ages. So I
Oof,
mean, they
yeah.
changed. They were able to change though, thankfully. So maybe it could change.
Yeah, I understand there, but I don't think he should change training camps. I don't know, maybe he pushed himself way more. I AKA is no they got killers in the stable.
Yeah.
AKA has killers in the stable, so I'm not sleeping on them. I say he should just first get healthy, completely healthy, then get a full training camp and get a good opponent. That's it. So with that being said, BX, where do you want to take the show?
Let's talk about what we talked about earlier. Is a documentary series that we've seen, but we want to take a break and then we'll come back to the documentary series. We'll take a quick short break there. Austin, are you going to stick around for the documentary part?
No, I haven't seen it.
All right, so I'm going to
All
take
right.
a break so like that we could switch the chairs, and then what we do is we'll come back. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. No, he's and we're back here. So I appreciate you there, Dan. So we're gonna
Hey,
talk
how you
about
doing?
good, good. Now I can hear you better. I'm not on a delay when I'm in the other laptop. I'm a little bit of a delay, but we'll get rolling. So we're gonna talk about something dear. Before I even get into that, I want to first bring to attention for our MMA fans and everyone listening on the stream. We call to attention that we're trying to help out a fundraiser for to save two dogs that needs rescue, and the information is there for Evicta FC strawweight champion Elemi Duque. She's raffling her prize, her winning uniform, and all the information is there. We're asking you guys to, if you can help out these four poor friends. There's two of them. There's two doggies that need help, and she's doing a wonderful thing and trying to raise and do a raffle. And at the, I think it's the 22nd. We should know who wins that raffle, but it's not about winning the raffle. It's about helping and saving those four poor loved ones. Dogs are really man best friend. I have two of my own that we love and we spoil like children. And I know everyone has their dogs that they love and their pets, not just dogs, cats, and all types of pets that you have that you love. They really give comfort, and that's why it hit me near and dear to my heart to step in and want to help, and trying to do whatever I can promoting. And the information is there. If you have Venmo or PayPal, and then also where the animal shelter is there as well. So so all the information there. You could find her in Twitter at Elemi there, and Emily. I'm tongue twisted, so I apologize for that. We have a little bit of a power outage in the moment here, but hopefully we're still on the air. We and with that said, and thank you for everyone to supporting, and we know we're going to help out, and we're going to help save those dogs and many dogs. So with that said, we're going to go into what we saw over the weekend, and it was the documentary for CHRISTY Martin. Let me get in there with that. Let me move this for a second. We'll put that information again back up for Emily. But we're gonna go with CHRISTY Martin. We saw the documentary, bro. One of the best documentaries that I have seen in a long time, and it's not bad. I'm not saying one of the best. It's an unfortunate situation, but the way it was done, the way the story was. Let me really backtrack. The way the story was explained and was brought to light, excellent way of bringing it to light. And what a warrior, this Hall of Fame fighter, Christy Salter, because I don't know if she wants to be called Martin, but Christy Salter Martin, you know, kudos to you. I knew you was a great champion, a pioneer, an icon, living legend. But wow, you took your story to another level in my eyes, and the impact you had on women's boxing. We could break down the nuts and bolts, but I'm going to start with that, and Dan, I'm going to let you in, and we'll break the nuts and bolts on that.
Yeah, this documentary on Netflix. I'm trying to look up the name of it right now. If you give me one moment.
Austin, any details you know about CHRISTY Martin that you want to share?
It's called Untold.
I really don't know much about her.
Well, yeah, if anything, you should watch the documentary Untold. The Untold is a series of documentaries. So hers is called Deal with the Devil. Untold Deal with the Devil, and it's all about her life and how JC Cruz said it in the chat there. It's a great documentary. It really is. If anyone gets a chance, please watch Untold Deal with the Devil, because it is the story of Christy Salters, how she becomes Christy Martin, how she becomes the fighter that she was, how she became, well, the fighter that she is to this day, because she still fights in living in the way that she lives, and teaches boxing to this day, and the way that she still has an attachment to boxing, because her relationship with boxing as a fighter was something very, very unique, something we've never seen before. And the way she goes into detail, and how she when she was at the top of the game, and when she was someone who, to this day, she still has one of the highest selling women fighting pay-per-views as a headliner, between her and Layla Ali. And like, just her story is very unique, and it's just, you guys have to watch it. It's something, it leaves you speechless at times, and it touches the heart a lot. And I'd love, if we ever got the chance, if she ever saw this, I would love to just ask her a few questions, because there were a few moments in that documentary that she highlights. And as much as this show likes to keep it about the punches and the kicks, her life, like, just the everyday life and love and relationships and things of that nature, it blended in a seamless yet messy way with boxing for her. And the way that it blended, it was able to create the great fighter that was Christy Martin, but then it almost destroyed it. It almost destroyed that fighter, but she was able to fight out of it. And her life story is just amazing. It's something that, it touches your heart. You guys gotta watch it. I would just recommend watching it.
Yeah, that
BX is there. Yeah.
well said on that. With that, and one thing that I want to start from the very beginning, coming out of West Virginia, you know, she didn't even wanted to think. She didn't even have aspirations of being a fighter. She just went, and there was a local tournament in the city, and she just went to her town, and she just went. And there's, that's why, even for anyone, no matter how old you are, and this is mentioned for anyone who's listening to this broadcast anywhere, no matter how old you are, where you are, everybody has unique and blessful God-given talents. It's up to you to unlock them and recognize them, because you don't know. Never limit yourself. You always got a talent. Like that young lady, she didn't know she was going to be a fighter, and both on and off the ring, and she just had a God-given talent, and you unlock it. So, hey, that's a word of the wise to everyone. You all have an ability, talent. But if you cross your hands and don't do nothing, you won't be able to exercise or express your talents. They say, like, spread your wings. So you have to take your chances. And then, to me, I took that as a aspiration. Say, you have talent. You have to. If you don't do nothing, action is more than just talking and words. So if you do actions and you're gonna have your talent, you're gonna be backed up very well, and that's what she did. And then from there, she went and she fought, and they took her to a gym, a proper boxing gym, to see what she has elevated. But then you see the stereotype um, things that we deal with, and it's just not. And it was a male female aspect. The lady walks into the gym, young lady walks in the gym, and they didn't want to train her. They looked at her like she was from another country. So that's why we're trying hard to bring a female fighter, even MMA, boxing, on, because we want to also talk about here from their point of view of the different obstacles, hills to climb, and so forth, that and barriers have to because she's a pioneer. She broke the barrier there.
She is definitely a pioneer. If anything, if some of you guys just want to watch a matchup, if anything, one of her most famous matchups is an undercard for a Mike Tyson fight, in which ended up being the fight of the night on the Mike Tyson card, which lets you know how much of a pioneer she was for women's boxing. Look up Christy Martin versus Deidre Gogarty. Like, that was a fight that it truly broke the barrier. If you guys want to see if you guys want to see two women who's giving it their all, like bloodied up, leaking, but still throwing haymakers and got dynamite in both hands. Like it's like that, different, like truly fighters. Like you don't put a gender behind their names. Like Christy Martin, she's a Hall of Fame boxer. That's it.
That's
She's
it.
not a woman fighter.
Exactly.
She's a boxer.
Exactly. You said it perfect. You said it perfect.
There's no gender for the bombs that she's throwing, and there are male athletes in the documentary that's letting you know, like, hey, she whooped my ass a couple of times while we were sparring. She had dynamite in both hands, and the worst part about it is she could take a punch. Like when you got a chin and you got dynamite in two hands, like, hey, don't play.
And not only that, Dan, we see later down her career, she's also became a showman, an entertainer. Those interviews, I don't, she said some of the things she wished she could take back, but when you're in that hype of the fight, she knew it's a business. She knew how to hype. She went to the best hype promoter in the history of boxing, Don King, and she signed her, and she just gravitated, and it was a match made perfect. Although the money wise is a whole nother story, but as the documentary unfolds himself, the little lady she goes down to if I'm not mistaken, Tennessee to start fighting. They didn't want to train her, but they saw something in her. The sparring partner saw something in her, and then he goes, wow, I'm gonna have to train her, and he did. But unfortunately, they got into that trainer boxer relationship, and they kind of
don't ruin it. They gotta watch the documentary.
Okay, we wanted to talk a little bit of give it a bit of a summary with that.
But let's not ruin the the mystique of it. I definitely want to give everyone a chance to watch the documentary. That way, if any time that we can come back here and we rediscuss the documentary, that's something that we'd love to have the chat be involved in. That we'd love to see a whole lot more chat bubbles popping up and you guys talking about that documentary, because it was awesome. It's very awesome. Like she's a pioneer. Like and like BX said, the it was more than the punches with her. Granted, she does say she regrets some of the things she said when she had the chance on the Jay Leno's and the Conan O'Briens and things of that nature, but she had the ability to sell fights outside of the ring. And she was a showman, like you said. Like it's two aspects to the fighting game that we're seeing nowadays. The first is in the ring, whether you got it. The second is outside of the ring. Do you have that? Do you have enough charisma to make us interested for what you're gonna do next? And she has that.
Right. And then the reason why we bring in this documentary to light, because we're gonna get to it eventually, and at the end of the program. One thing that I saw, that she fought every 2 weeks, and that's a concern. And I want to bring that up with something dear and dear to not just my heart but our family's heart, was the young lady that passed away in Montreal, 18-year-old fighter, and we're gonna bring that up in a minute. We'll wrap up the Christy Martin, the Salter Martin. We reached out to Christy Salter Martin, to her handlers, and we haven't heard back yet because it was too soon. We want to get her in the future up here, and maybe we should grant us a few minutes of interview to just talk about that and the aspect of the fighting. So I want to and let's talk about that the fighting aspect of not enough time to recuperate. What do you think on that?
If you could highlight JC Cruz's right there, Jeanette Zacharias Zapata. Just want to highlight that and leave that there. As far as that BX alerted me to the news. I have to do more research on it, read more articles on it. But that's definitely sad. That's sad, and it's disgusting in this day and age, because with Christy Salters, she was fighting in a day and age where they weren't doing so much. Like, we didn't have the medical advancements that we do in today's age, and we don't have the knowledge that we do in today's age to know how much time of recuperation a fighter should have, especially knowing that when you're in the fight game, most of the damage is going to be taken to the head, and the brain takes a different amount of time to heal than all other parts. It just does. It's a different type of tissue. It's more sensitive. It's a lot. It's very important, and so it's a different type of tissue, and you have to give it a different time frame to heal. And hearing that, her trainers, okayed the fact that she fought within the span of 2 weeks is disgusting. And so, fighters, please look out for your own safety. I know we talked about this with Darren Till and him getting hurt. I know I voiced that he shouldn't leave AKA due to the way they have their history of the of great fighters, but that's because they have an established history. Fighters, please look into your trainers. Please make sure that the trainers have your best interests and look into their history, because this was disgusting. This is very disgusting, and I pin this as much, I pin this on the trainers, if anything, because those are the people in your corner that should be telling you, no, just no. Go home and rest, kid. You got to go home and rest.
Yeah, and the importance of the corner, they have your life in your hands. They train you. They know every ins and outs. They know your best. They know when you have and something, trainers, in an aspect of Christy Martin. At that time, it was her husband that was her trainer running the program. I understand they wanted to make money because she was a box office, but I think it was like 5,000 a fight, or 500, something around five
No, not
thousand.
5,000. It was $50 the first time, because
No, the
they were
50, they had to
only
sell
able to
tickets.
sold.
They had to sell
They had to sell
tickets,
tickets, so it was fifty
right?
dollars a fight.
And then after that, I think it was like $500 a fight every 2 weeks, or something in
Yeah,
that.
and then Don King gave her 5,000,
five thousand
and that was
dollars,
the biggest payday for her.
and it's still not enough. So
It's still not enough, and I mean, we don't know the pockets of these fighters. They can't really discuss it due to them signing contracts, but at some point, some fighter is gonna, they're gonna they're gonna, someone's gonna voice enough that we're gonna know what's going on behind the scene, to where if a fighter is getting paid enough, because if enough fighters are, screaming that they're not getting paid enough, something's going on.
right, especially
Something
that.
is definitely going
Right,
on.
especially when we saw Austin. Anything you want to say about the fight, the pay scale, or
I mean, well, I just want to talk about the poor woman, Jeanette Zapata. Rest in peace. I mean, I'm kind of. It's really sad. I mean, she don't. I mean, especially since she's 18. I mean, I'm only 24. I mean, I'm not that. I mean, I'm still young myself, but still, it's like, man, 18. Jeez, gone. That's just depressing. And it's just sad, especially your trainers, over and just wasn't the story where she got knocked out like 2 weeks
yeah,
prior
yeah,
or something like
yeah,
that?
yeah. We're gonna break that down with the recovery time is, and like you said, with just to jump from two different aspects to wrap up the Christy Martin fight. And that's why, and I give kudos, and I know there's an issue still with the pay rate with the fighters in UFC, but I give Dana White a lot of kudos that he gives those fight performance bonus, because in that pay per view with the Tyson Bruno fight, Christy Martin stole the show there. And if that was a UFC day, she would have got the fight of the night bonus. So I just wanted to lighten that to now to the present, to Dana White for kudos on giving that fight of the night bonus. And that's why we want to really get an MMA fighter out there to come out and ask us about, if the pay rate is equal. I know there was a MMA fighter that she won a fight, and if she didn't get fight of the bonus, night of the bonus, all her money from the prize fight was going to all her trainers. And she went with her, I think she went in her car with just her dogs, and just, yeah, she went to fight to try to make money.
Cheyenne Bays or buys, I believe. Yeah, if
Yeah.
she didn't get that fight of the night bonus, then she wouldn't have been able to just, survive for the next month. So
Wow. So,
yeah.
those are rough there. And also with Jeanette, in the case of Jeanette, the more details we see from her, she fought, I think, 2 months prior to it, and she was knocked out in her law in that fight. She was
Oh,
knocked
two
out
months.
viciously.
Oh,
But still too much time to recuperate. Like we said, we don't have enough science
mhm.
or detail to know when you get knocked out how much time your brain is it recuperates. She was concussed, and then to go back in the ring in there at 18 also. And then the thing is that the more details we read, and there's going to be more details. I know the father is irate. He's heartbroken, sad. I read a statement before coming on the air, and I put some of it, try to copy it, and put it on here so we could read off some of it. He's distraught, but the trainers let him down. And was she a cash cow for the corners? And no, no, go in there. You got to put a, you put 4 rounds, and that's the young lady's photo, by the way, that we have. She's young, a young girl. Look, a young little girl out there fighting a 31-year-old fight boxer as well. The age disparity, I understand, but they should have given her a younger fighter for now and let her until she gets. She's still developing. She's still a young lady. That's ridiculous with that. And hopefully there's an investigation. And yes, Jeanette fought 3 months prior and was knocked out, and the young lady there again, Jeanette was 18 years old, and her corner failed that young lady. She's, and the thing is, she was getting manhandled through the whole first 3 rounds. As a corner, you got to throw in the towel and know when to fight for another day, like they say. You don't have it today, kid. You're gonna die out there, and literally, the corner has a lot to be blamed in my case, in my opinion, for her loss, and it's so sad. Rest in peace to Jeanette Zapata. It's sad to announce that we don't want to see anyone pass away in the ring. I know they're gladiators and they put all their lives on the line to entertain us, but at the end of the day, we want them to come back, safe, have a good fight, entertain us, and not get hurt. And to see that there, and in women's boxing too, it's are they giving the proper protection and care for with these women fighters? And it's a statement, and apologize what I'm going to say, but women's physicology is not really meant for fighting in the physical aspect, and we appreciate them to go out there and fight. We said, fight of the night, we've been saying over and over, is the women fighters. We saw Molly McCain entertain us, and we see other Romania Nunez entertainers, Ronda Rousey phenomenal. But at the end of the day, we got to be careful not to rush these ladies back in there and fight again over and over. We need to have a conversation here. They need the proper layoff or rest or recuperation time in their physical body, because we don't want to see this again, man.
To the point that you're saying, as far as with them rushing back out, like I feel like I just there's no excuse. I don't there's no excuse, because if what I'm seeing correctly is that she fought, like, she got knocked out 3 months prior, then you know 3 months is a training camp. 3 months is a training camp, meaning there was no recuperation time. You essentially told that young lady to get up off the canvas and let's get right back to training. And that's wrong. But like, the other part of that is, like, I like, more promotion should be going to the ladies, because it shouldn't be to, that they're fighting for enough car time to where, like, if someone gets hurt, if they get hurt badly to a point where, like, they may not have gotten knocked out, but they do have some lingering damage, but they feel like they have to get back out there to, number one, get the next paycheck, and number two, because, like, they got to promote themselves more in order to get the next paycheck after that. Like, the promotion just got to get better for the ladies.
And I get it. I get it. Being a Latin descendant, and having from humble beginnings, not having it, and if you have a talent like in boxing, an ability and a talent, and that's a means of feeding your family. In her case, 18 years old, she was taking care. Her purse was going to her parents, taking care of her parents. Also, she's a wife. She's married as well, so Not only that, she has to take care of her household, and she's taking. As I read today, also her purse was going to take care of family. Like all, but a lot of our Latin cultures, we take care of our families, and in every cultures, we take care of our parents, our elderly parents. And I think did she feel obligated that she needs to continue to be in the ring because she needs to continue to provide? And this is something dangerous. Sometimes there's got to be a conversation about a community, not allowing, especially the sanctioned fight. I don't in Canada. If you look at the scale that they use to weigh the ladies, and I'll bring pictures later. I'll get more. It looked it like it was just something like, it was made from just from out of nowhere, like local YMCA ring. It was rusted weights for the weigh-in. The young lady was on. She looked. It just was like, wow. You could tell her body wasn't fully recovered from the fight. Usually when a fighter prepares for a fight, they're in great shape, and she looked a little bit out of shape, but a fighter. But hey, you can't measure what you have in the heart, and unfortunately, that's what brought the young lady to her death there, and also mismanagement from a corner. A corner, has to be brought up to the light and held to the fire and ask, why did you put this young lady back? If you got the, or even give her go past 2 rounds if she was getting pummeled. And that's why I'm also worried going forward with we saw a fight 2 weeks ago where we had Yamile Mercado fought, and she got really beat up by Amanda Serrano with her face and she was body punches, and she really got a lot of punches unnecessary, and her corner allowed her to go fighting uh way too much past. They should have thrown in the towel on that too, and leave her to fight for another day, because Mercado is a good young fighter. It was a unification belt, and she was getting manhandled. So maybe they should have taking the corner has to be aware when your fighter is taking unnecessary blows. And the two male, you saw the two male go back and forth arguing, and the male ego got involved, and they go like, well, I'm gonna put my. It's like saying I'm gonna have my rooster fight your rooster and let them go at it, and you know you got these are lives that we have to try to conserve and save, and not let them take unnecessary hits. Yes, we want to see the fight, we want to see the wonderful knockouts, but we also got to protect the fighters from getting unnecessary blows that they don't need. If you know that your fighter's going to lose no matter what, and they're not throwing, and they're not getting, they're lackluster, and they tell you, like we saw in the documentary. If you see later on when Christy Martin fought Layla Ali, that's why I wanted to touch base with, bring those in comparison. She tells her corner, I'm dizzy, but I figured I could get out. It was a fog that I'll clear up my vision, and she was concussed fighting that Layla Ali, and her corner in that time was her ex husband, kept her in the fight to keep fighting unnecessary. So those are the things, cornermen. You really got to study your fighter, even if in any level, and yeah, they might be your cash cow, but you really got to protect them, because if you let your cash cow take unnecessary hits, you ain't gonna eat either. So that's a hard point there, and that's a frustration there, and sad for Jeanette and her. Rest in peace, but a prayer to her families, her parents who just lost her too soon. The young lady didn't really live life, guys.
Most definitely. Rest in peace to Jeanette.
Yeah. Austin, any details on that? On
No, it's just that yeah, um, yeah, rest in peace to Jeanette, and yeah, I mean, I'm surprised the trainers didn't stop. After 3 rounds of being pummeled, they didn't stop the fight. You said, yeah, and my apologies. It wasn't 2 weeks. It was 3 weeks. It was 3 months prior her last fight was. She got knocked out. I mean, unless they saw like her recover or something. I mean, why did you put it back out there? Who knows? Who
right,
knows? I mean, yeah, corner has a lot of answer to obviously trainers and people like that. And like I said, wait and see. You don't want to judge the judgment because you never know. Right, and who know? Yeah, but yeah, it's all a tragic event. Yeah, rest in peace to her, and yeah, just sad.
Exactly like JC Cruz says. Christy Martin mentioned in the documentary, like every fighter's life is in the corner's hands.
absolutely, it is, and it was mentioned
Yep.
that they spend the most time. They prepare these fighters. They know every ins and out. And when it comes to the fighting aspect, and they teach them all that they know, and they should know when their fighter don't have it. And and when you see fighters, hey, if you're not, if we seen this some of the times when you go into in any of the boxing fights, when you go into the corners, you hear them say, "Hey, if I don't see you throw, I'm gonna pull the plug." You know, cornermen's got to be more aware. There's got to be seminars or conversation with training camps and corners. Protect your fighter no matter what. I'm not saying to go out there and give us just give us something lackluster. No, we want to be entertained, but we also want the safety and you know keep these people alive and safe and sound. Walk away. We're trying to get some more boxers on here. Hopefully, we've been reaching out. We'll get some good boxers here to give us. We want to just know if any of the boxers listening on Twitter or that are here watching the stream or here on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. If you fighters, we want to talk to you or just write us in the chat or in the post on the page. What is it? Recuperation time, is it different from fight to fight? And the energy that expended, how many minutes? What's the your recuperation time, and we want to know those things so we could educate other. Maybe there's a young inspiring male female fighter that don't know how to recuperate properly, and they might need hear it from a professional or someone who's been in a fight. We'll ask Billy Swanson. We'll have him back on, and we ask him about that as well, and we ask him about the ankle lock because he's a jujitsu fighter and a grappler. So we'll bring him back on the program, and we ask him about those questions, and we'll ask him about the recovery time because he also went through a really good fight there, but he was knocked out. The fight was stopped. He protected himself. He knew that the fight was short notice and he was getting punches unnecessary to the head, and he went down and he didn't answer. And he only had a few minutes to get to the second round. He was just there to get there, but he said, you know what, I'm going to protect myself to live through another day. And he covered himself, and he went out and down on the ground and pound, and the referee stopped for no activity because he protected himself. He went down and both gloves up to protect his head. We saw him with a black eye on the program when he came on, but he did fought, and he fought. Now he's gonna say he fought for another day, and in his defeat he entertained us and made fans of him because he had charisma. So we'll have Billy Swanson on. Reach out, and we ask him if he able to grace us and ask us these questions as well, and we'll get other fighters as well. We want to hear their recuperation time and how they protect themselves because they could be their own worst enemies sometimes.
Most definitely. So with that being said, BX, where do you want to take the show to now?
Well, we could give it an early dismissal because I know it's NFL football, and I know a lot of people want to see the NFL. Austin, you want to give pouting goodbyes or quick anything on your agenda you want to bring up?
Oh yeah, yeah. This was a great card. The Brits came through, and also yeah, shoot, what was I gonna bring up? Dang, I don't remember. Shoot, I don't. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay, guys. So you had
The
the
card.
light bulb turned on, and I said, "Let me stop because you got something good that you're gonna bring." But the minute you remember, just let us know so we can let you
Right.
spit it out there. Chef Dan, talk to me.
Last thing we want to talk, I want to talk about. I believe there's supposed to be a boxing match happening this weekend. I know Evander
Uh,
Holyfield might be getting back into the ring.
yeah,
I
he
know
is.
I know Anderson Silva is supposed to be facing Tito Ortiz in the boxing ring. I'm looking forward to seeing Anderson Silva in the boxing ring because he impressed me last time. I'm looking forward to that.
Is that the card that's gonna
Um.
be? It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
I
huge.
believe.
You
I
huge.
believe. I believe an ex-president is going to be hosting that. But
You're,
yeah,
you're, you're
that's
gonna like it. You're gonna love it. It's gonna
nah.
be
That'll be.
huge.
Oh man. Anyways, I just want to say, next UFC event that's supposed to happen is on the 18th on a Saturday. The main event there is going to be Anthony Smith versus Ryan Superman Spann. It's going to be very interesting. I hope you guys are around for that. I hope you guys watch that. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this Thursday night football. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and have a good night. BX, I'll take it to you.
All right. Austin, last thought before I wrap up. Did you remember what you were going to say, or did he come back?
No, well, have a well, no, well. My thing is, basically, have a good night, guys, and I got yeah, like I said, Ryan Spann and Anthony Smith next week. Interesting main event for UFC, and also Bellator is also having that night as well with Romero and Dale Davis. We'll talk more about that next week. So, but yeah, stuff to look forward to. Obviously, there's no UFC, no Bellator. Probably I don't know if 9/11 had to do with it because this is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So I forget that also. So yeah, yeah. RIP the victims of 9/11 and have a good day and good night. Well, good night, good day every time watching this, and look forward to talking to you guys next time.
All right. So we're gonna wrap up the MMA pro. I just want to say, everyone, tomorrow Yankee watch along returns. The Yankees host the Mets. Right now, the Yankees are trailing 3-2, 7-7, bottom of the seventh inning, with two outs. Man on first, Gio Urshela at bat. For all those that tune in looking for the baseball, we did the MMA program, but we'll be on tomorrow and Saturday the Subway Series in the evening, and we stay tuned. I put a notification. We're gonna have a it's called Football Nights, weekly football talk. We're gonna look around the league and definitely have a talk about the football upcoming week one, a little bit of the Cowboy Tampa game that's currently happening, and we'll definitely have that program hit the notifications to know the time. I think it's 12 noon Eastern, but we'll double check on it might start later or might start early, but for now it's scheduled for 12. But we'll see on Saturday morning, how we're gonna go with that there. But for me tomorrow, and definitely we'll have a couple of Met fans on, hopefully with the watch along this upcoming weekend. I know Dan is a Met fan. I know Divine is a Met fan, and they're more and definitely going to throw the string link so we can hear a Met and Yankee go at it back and forth and all that. So from Bronx Sports Jedi Network, thank you everyone in the chat. To JC Cruz, uh, Musabi UFC, and Hector Project Nerd. We had Robert Parr in the building. I thank you guys all. And then before we go, one more time, I'm going to put that information out there for that fundraiser. Please help out. Your attention to Musafi UFC. Hey, grab that information there. It's on my Facebook page. Anything can help for those puppies, for those dogs that need rescue. We really want to help out a fellow MMA fighter to rescue those dogs out there in OKC. So here's the information, and here it goes. So, and for me, saying have a good night, and we'll see you next time. You'll see me tomorrow, but you'll see you next time, and we'll continue doing the best we can.